Almost Shabbat Shalom, everybody. This is Stanley Davids again with Torah Gems on Friday, TGOF. I'd like to begin by thanking the more than 200 people who bothered to listen to this video cast last week on Facebook or found it on YouTube. I'm grateful to you. Please do me a favor. For those of you who enjoy this meeting together to study Torah, please share this with other people. Let's get the word out. Let's get people involved in Torah study and in joining our particular sacred community. If you don't regularly use Facebook but like watching the study session, send me an email, ravdavids@gmail.com, and we'll put you on a special notification list to get a notification as to when it's been uploaded each week to YouTube, and then you can follow it that way as well. So here we have a magnificent moment. It is the last two Sedras of the book of Exodus. We are closing the book of Exodus, and what a run we've had there. The birth of Moses, the burning bush, the confrontation with Pharaoh, the 10 plagues, Exodus, the Reed Sea, Mount Sinai, the golden calf. What a book, what a set of stories, an incredible adventure. And this Shabbat morning, when we read the last two short sedras of the book of Exodus, we will say, Chazak, Chazak, v'nit chazek. Let us be strong, let us be strong, let us strengthen one another. And the very next week, what do? We move on to the book of Leviticus. Because quite frankly, we never end the study of Torah. It goes on and on and on forever. Now, the rabbis were intrigued about the very first word of our double sedra portion this week, vayakel, vayakel, bring together. Now, the Hebrew text could have used a variety of other words for get the folks together. It could have found words to say assemble, gather, muster, convene. It could have used all of those, but it used vayakel, and vayakel has within it the sense of meaning of kihilah. Form a community. Form a community, and now I'm going to give you more of the significant laws of the Torah. We're building up to a total of 613. We're in process. The community has to accept these numbers. Now, many of the mitzvot are addressed to us as individuals, and we understand that. Love your neighbor. You, love your neighbor. That's fine. Don't take revenge. Love God. But many of the mitzvot require community, and that's a very interesting thing. In fact, it would seem to me that one of the greatest successes of Torah is its help in forming community. It forces us to be part of a sacred community. It forces us to be larger than just a collection of disparate individuals. Vayakel, make a community, and then I'll be able to give you more commandments and have you do what you're required to do. Now, what happens after God says to Moses, Vayakel? We immediately are thrown into a further discussion of the laws of the Sabbath, Shabbat. Now, we've had previous laws already, but there is more to be said. Listen to this. On 6 days work may be done, but on the seventh day you shall have a Sabbath of complete rest, holy to the Lord. Here's the good part. Whoever does any work on it shall be put to death. For any of you who believe that the laws of Sabbath are kind of incidental and gentle and nice and sweet and full of light and challah, not necessarily so. Anyone who does work on the Shabbat shall be put to death. Now, if that's not strong enough, listen to the next verse. You shall kindle no fire throughout your settlements on Shabbat day. No fire. That seems like a fairly straightforward thing. Don't light any fires on Shabbos. And yet that particular mitzvah was the impetus for the formation, creation, inciting of one of the greatest ideological divides in all of Jewish life, that between the so-called Rabbinites and the Karaites, K-A-R-A-I-T-E-S, Karaites. Karaite, the word comes from Mikra, the reading. It's another name for Bible, and we could translate Karaites as biblical literates, those who take the Bible literally and say we should only do what is taught in it. Now, the Karaites were formed perhaps in the early 7th century of our era, probably in Egypt and in Iraq, and grew to be a very strong movement. The Karaites, the biblical literalists on one side, the Rabbinites on the other side. The Karaites read this specific verse and said, no fire, no lights on Shabbat at all. Shabbat is to be darkness. Cold in the winter. No, you can't light the fire before the Sabbath begins and have it burn all during the Sabbath. Don't have fire on the Sabbath means don't have any fire on the Sabbath. The rabbis didn't view it that way. And you know what? This is where the Sabbath candles come from. When the rabbis decided that they have to stand over against the Karaites, they said, you can light candles before the Sabbath begins, and they can burn into the Sabbath period. And that would apply as well to if you start a fire in your home, you need that for warmth, and you start it before Shabbat. It's okay to have it continue burning until it burns out and thus bring warmth and light into your home. I guess, my friends, that at heart, I'm a Rabbinite. I opt for flexibility over rigidity. For me, the joy of Shabbat is exemplified by those magnificent candles each and every week. Something else. When we confront the decisions that we are called upon to make, those decisions are rarely binary. We have to live in a world of nuance and of complexity, of variations, of opinions, of evolution of ideas. Life is not black and white, no fire, darkness, cold on Shabbat, or something else. We'll never know what the original intention was of those who wrote this particular passage in the Torah. What did they really mean? What did they really want from us? We don't know that. Don't kindle any fires on your home on Shabbat. But for me, I'm happier. I'm uplifted more in the presence of light than in the presence of darkness. Shabbat and light for me go together. Maybe I'm technically correct, maybe not, but I won't be bound by the literal. By the way, I know that we have some Karaite friends who are receiving this video. I'm open to their comments and will share them with you. I'd close with this. Stay open to nuance. Stay open to the evolution of ideas. Stay open to the beauty of community and the beauty of Shabbat. And I close with the traditional words, Chazak, Chazak v'nit chazek, be strong, be of good courage. See you next week.